Within this area of social process theories, there is a subcategory called integrated theories. Theory integration implies the combination of two or more contexts, including existing theories, levels of theory, social context, or individual context. We'll talk about some of these theories in the next few slides. Integrated social process theory creates an explanatory model that expands and synthesizes traditional strain, social control, and social learning perspectives into a single paradigm that accounts for delinquent behavior and drug use. Theorists who developed integrated social process theories argue that just one single theory is flawed in explaining delinquent behavior. Instead, all the theories need to integrate using the strongest features of each. For example, Del Elliott states that the experience of living in a socially disorganized area leads youth to develop weak bonds with conventional groups, activities, and norms. High levels of strain, as well as weak bonds with conventional groups, lead some youth to seek out delinquent peer groups, and these antisocial peer groups provide both positive reinforcement for this behavior and role models for this behavior. Elliott proposes that there is a high likelihood of involvement in delinquent behavior when bonding to delinquent groups is combined with weak bonding to conventional groups. This is a relatively new theory compared to the ones that we've studied thus far, but reviews of this theory are relatively positive at this point in time, though some doubt is raised about its applicability to some kinds of delinquent behaviors. Questions have been raised about its utility with different kinds of drug activity. For example, it was more accurate in explaining marijuana use than it was hard drug use. This slide helps you see how Elliott has integrated the various concepts from several theories into one integrated process theory. Those that live in socially disorganized areas experience both high strain and weak bonds with conventional groups. And so here Elliott is drawing on both strain theory and social control theories. Living in these areas and having weak bonds then leads the youth to be more likely to engage in activities with delinquent peer groups. This then leads the youth to getting positive reinforcement for their delinquent or non-conventional activities, and at the same time provides role models for the delinquent behaviors. And this, of course, leads to more delinquent behaviors. So you can see how Elliott has taken many of the basic premises of other theorists and woven them together to create a separate theory. In Thornberry's interactional theory of delinquency, the initial impetus towards delinquency comes from a weakening of the person's bond to social conventional society, represented by an attachment to parents, commitment to school, and belief in conventional values. Association with delinquent peers and delinquent values make up the social setting in which delinquency, especially prolonged serious delinquency, is learned and reinforced. These two variables, along with delinquent behaviors itself, form a mutually exclusive causal loop that leads towards increasing delinquency involvement over time. Also, this process develops over the life cycle. During early adolescence, the family is the most influential factor bonding a child to conventional society and reducing delinquency. But as a child moves further into adolescence, the world of friends, school, and youth culture become the dominant influence over their behaviors. Thornberry's theory essentially views delinquency as a result of events occurring in a developmental fashion. Delinquency is not viewed as an end product, but rather as the process formation of delinquent values, which then contributes to disconnection in social bonds, more attachment to antisocial peers, and then additional involvement in delinquent behaviors. Interactional theories have some strong positive features. They are more commonly used among researchers at this point in time. However, there are some drawbacks too. They don't adequately address middle-class delinquency. They don't address all racial and gender issues either. The viewpoint is that delinquency will persist throughout adolescence and adulthood, And these theories leave little room for short-term discontinuation or permanent termination of illegal behavior patterns.